Hello and welcome to Office Hours with David Meltzer. David is not going to be here today. He is actually receiving an honorary doctorate. So he is on stage somewhere. And if he's not on stage, he's either moving onto it or coming off of it. So you've got me today. I'm Blaine Bartlett. And David and I actually started these Office Hours shows a number of years ago. And so long ago that we're now into episode 725 of them. So, yeah, I'm very honored always to be on this Thursday show. We've got other shows that are on other days of the week as well. And next week, we'll be in Las Vegas. We're filming season, I believe, 9 of Office Hours for Apple TV. So this has become actually quite a little endeavor that we're involved with here. So what we talk about here with our guests is just an entrepreneurial journey. The original title of this Office Hours Thursday segment was The Soul of Business. Now, the Soul of Business version of Office Hours, and that soul of business is that spark that just kind of brings life to what the business is about, the spark that actually creates the idea. So without further ado here, I'd like to bring on our first guest who's got a fascinating story to tell. Hussein Fazal is the CEO and founder of Super.com. And first of all, Hussein, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
But secondly, just kudos to you for getting that URL. Super.com. Wow.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of money. So and some negotiation maybe, but
yeah. Well,
yeah,
when you do an 8-figure exit, you have some money that you can actually throw to a URL, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on the show.
Well, it's our honor. And again, I told you, while we were back in the green room that David's not here, and I just let the audience know that. That being said, the conversational format that we have here, I think, is going to suit your style really well. And I see, Steph Curry's jersey in the background. There's a little story that's important for us to understand around that because he was an investor, I believe, in Super.com.
That's
But
right.
before we get to Super.com itself, just give us a little backstory about kind of your journey here.
Yeah, I've a long journey. So I've been an entrepreneur now for almost 20 years. I'm gonna take it way back, but I'll be fast. So went to Waterloo, studied computer science, thought I was going to be a full-time engineer. And then at some point, I realized I didn't like working for a big company. So I started a company on the side called Ad Parlor, which was a Facebook ad optimization company. And basically what we did is we managed ads for Starbucks, Netflix, Groupon, and helped them optimize their Facebook ads. So built that business. After about 3 years, sold it to AdKnowledge, stayed on for 3 years, and then took some time off. So I had a successful exit. It was just me and a co-founder and a ragtag bunch of employees. But we did it, no outside funding, and it was kind of a great journey. Now, for most people, the journey would stop there, and they say, okay, like, done hanging up the boots. I'm just going to be an investor. I'm going to be a philanthropist. I'm going to travel the world. But for me, as I looked into myself and thought about what I wanted to do, I was still super young. I was in my early 30s, and I said, I have the time, energy, and desire to do something else. But if I'm going to do something else, one, it has to be bigger. Otherwise, what's the point? And then two, it has to have more impact. So those are kind of like the two criterias that we had. So that's when we went and started this new company about 8 or 9 years ago. I'll pause there for a second. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll go into this journey, which is
so this kind of gets us up to this.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So me and my co-founder Henry at the time were like, we like each other. We want to start a company. We want to do something. So we just start testing. And this is like, testing consumer ideas, testing B2B ideas, just trying to see what we want to do. And this was the time when everyone was building chatbots. And it was like, hey, you can send a message, you can get an instant response. Funny that it's now come full circle with AI and ChatGPT, but at that time, 8 or 9 years ago, people thought chat was going to replace apps. So we said, let's build a simple messaging app where you can book a hotel. And actually the idea came from some our network through the president of hotels.com, he had some ideas around the hotel space and hotels bidding on consumers. But anyways, we built this company where you could send a text message and you can get a hotel deal. Now, at the time, the company was called Snap Travel. And it was like, supposed to be a snappy way to book travel. You'd come in, you say, I want a hotel in New York, and we come back and just like send you some great hotel deals. And when we started, it was 100% manual. So someone would send a text message and me and my co-founder Henry would like receive it on our phone. We'd go like search like mad on the internet, and then we text back and say, hey, we got a great deal for you. You want us to book it? And they'd give us their credit card number and we'd book it for them. So completely manual, but we realized, yeah, completely. And by even though we were both engineers, we started manually. So fast forward a year or two, we kept doing this, but we learned a few things. One is we realized messaging is not really a great interface. It's like kind of slow, it's kind of clunky. But people just want a UI, they want an app, they want a website. Number two, we realized the most important thing by far is pricing. All people care about is price. People will look at 5, 10, 15 different websites. They will scour to the end of the earth to save a few bucks. So when it comes to hotels, which is kind of a commodity, pricing is what's most important. So we spent about 4 to 5 years just building discounted hotel pricing. In that business, it did quite well and continues to do well. And with that, we raised a couple of rounds. We raised a seed round, a Series A round, a Series B round. Steph Curry was involved in the Series B round, which we can come back to. And that business, Snap Travel, was doing quite well. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, our business pretty much went to zero. In fact, went to negative because we had more people requesting refunds than we had new bookings coming in. Now, what was going on a bit before COVID, and there's actually an HBS, Harvard Business School case study written about this, is that we started to think about what else we should do just to continue to expand the business and grow the business. Now, 99% of entrepreneurs would say, oh, I have this hotel business. I'm going to go at flights and tickets and tours and activities and car rentals. But what we did is we talked to our customers, and we saw that a lot of our customers were booking 2, 3-star hotels. They were paying with debit cards because they couldn't get a credit card. They were looking to make ends meet. And when you talk to your customers, they're not saying we want flights and tickets and tours and activities and car rentals. They're saying we need to save more on our daily spend. We need to earn more. We need to build our credit score. So we kind of pivoted the entire company to focus on helping this, like what we call the everyday American. So we introduced a debit credit card that helps you build your credit score with your everyday spend. We introduced the ability to get cash advances to make ends meet. We introduced the ability to earn money playing games, filling out surveys. We introduced the ability to save on gas and insurance, on pharma. So we continue to add more and more pieces to this. And then finally, one last piece, and I'll open it up for questions. About a year and a half ago, we started to put a lot of these things behind our membership. So we introduced a new membership called Super Plus. It's $15 a month. Now, most of the things on super.com, you have to be a member to get most of the advantage out of the app. So the simplest way to think about us now is we're trying to build the world's most valuable membership program. You can pay $15 a month for Super Plus, and you just get access to a ton of things: earnings, savings, insurance, and just, cash advances, 2-day early payday, and just a whole bundle of products. Think of it almost like an online version of Costco.
Yeah. So I'm just fascinated by the way that entrepreneurs think. I always have been. My dad was a serial entrepreneur. And I mean, you talk about the market sector, he was probably in it at some point in time. He was pretty agnostic about that. But what he did was exactly what you were just speaking to. What's the need that's being presented here? Not what do I think I'd like to offer, but what's the need that's actually being telegraphed? And then finding a way to do that. This pivot from hotel bookings to a fintech play. Yeah. Now you've generated over 200 million in raise. I mean, you've actually raised over 200 million, and you've generated over $2 billion in sales since the founding of the company. You talk about a success story. This is just interesting. And the point I want to just kind of, I guess there's a question embedded here, Hussein, which is that kind of a pivot. It's for a lot of people, it seems like, what's the word I'd use here? To go from a business, to really, I guess would be reinforcing the business that I already have to completely pivoting. Now, I know that the business had disappeared pretty much overnight when COVID hit. My hands in the air on that one as well. But to be able to think out of the box and go, okay, what's needed here? How did you learn to do that?
It's a bit of just mindset, I would say, more than anything else. And I give a lot of credit to my co-founder Henry, who did this even to a higher degree than I did. And basically, you almost challenge yourself to say, let's not think like everybody else. Let's go and think like 10x or 100x, right? Let's go and think if there was no limitation of resources, what would we do? Like, is that really the next best thing we would do? Now, a lot of people get into this like almost like a sunk cost fallacy. It's like, oh, I spent all this time building a hotels business. I may as well go and just do flights and tickets and tours. Well, it's like we try not to do that. We try to say like if we were gonna go from scratch, like what's the next best thing we can do? Now, obviously, it's not from scratch because we have a customer base who books hotels, who we can do other things with. Actually, a big driver of our Super Plus membership are our existing hotel bookers. Because if you remember, you get access to even deeper discounts and you get 10% cash back. So we've kind of like looped in the hotel business into the overall picture, and we've leveraged that asset we have, which is like consumers who want to save money, that everyday American who want to save money. But I would just say it's a mindset shift, which is like, think, how do you go 10x? How do you go 100x? Don't think about sunk cost fallacy, and how you can just literally try to not think like everybody else.
Yeah. One of the things that I've discovered in about 40 plus years of working in this space, this entrepreneurial space, is leveraging existing success can be a surefire way to failure if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, and you see a lot of companies who are ingrained in a certain way of doing things in a certain business. And then you see after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, they end up just kind of like moving slow and whittling away because they're not innovating fast enough, right? Exactly. They're not really thinking about what's next, and they're not innovating in the right way. And then that's the biggest problem, right? Like you don't want to be stagnant. So even with all these things that we offer, we continue to try and think about what else can we do. So we literally have an incubation hub where there's a small group of people and they're saying, what can we do next? Like talking to customers, qual research, quant research, looking at market opportunities, looking at acquisitions. What else do our customers want? Like if we were going to build the world's most valuable membership program, what else can we add to it that would A, give value to our existing members, and B, attract new members to come into the program? So always looking to innovate.
Great. We're going to have you back on this show again when David's available, but I also want to invite you onto my Soul of Business podcast. It's a longer form interview, and I think it would be a great place to really unbundle kind of the stuff that you're talking about here. So I'll reach out to you and we'll see if we can get you on the show relatively soon if you're available.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Folks, check it out, super.com. You're going to find that, as Hussein is talking here, you're going to have a lot of access to a lot of really good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff for a very nominal $15 a month. I mean, that's crazy.
It's a good deal.
Hussein, great having you on the show. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Blaine.
You bet. Take care. Wow. Now that's something else. You talk about an interesting pivot mentality. And it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. Success is driven by a shift in mindset always. And roadblocks are mindset induced. So that's kind of where all of that plays out. How do you tap into that spirit that wants to express itself? And it will express itself in all kinds of different forms. Speaking of which, our next guest, Ted Finn, has got a very interesting story as well. And I've been looking forward to talking with you, Ted, specifically around the question of scaling, VC-backed scaling, or just scaling because you want to scale without external funding. Now you've got something here that I think is very interesting in the wellness space.
Well, Blaine,
go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me on today. It's an honor to be here, and excited to have the conversation with you. So ask away.
Okay. Well, with Uplift, you've got a way of, and as I kind of understand it, it's not really a med device, but it gives us data that it allows us to be more healthy. Now, that's a very generic lay term with very poor understanding about what it is that you're actually bringing to the market here. But in my reading of it, in my understanding of it, it's wellness through technology, and there's intelligent insoles that are designed to, and I'm reading literally from the crib notes I've got here, intelligent insoles designed to unlock invaluable insights into movement and biomechanics. Everybody walks, but not everybody walks in a healthy way.
So there's like all startups, like all businesses, there's a story behind it. Here, there's actually two stories because I am a serial entrepreneur. But if we start on Uplift, Uplift is really a human health and performance company for global travelers. We provide solutions. We provide the solution for jet lag. And
that's
around
the piece
that,
I'm interested in.
and that is a really interesting story. And it really, I knew the problem because I had been in the footwear industry for 25 years, traveling all over the world, running operations in Europe, Asia, doing business in 25 different countries, producing in 10. And I found that incessant travel of millions of miles internationally and the effects of jet lag and travel fatigue impacted my work, the quality of my life, my health, and my family life. Travel can be really depleting, especially when you're on the run everywhere, all over the world.
Yeah.
So I knew the problem. What I didn't know was that there was a solution until I met my co-founder, Dr. Charles T. Krebs. Charles was a pioneer in the intersection of neurology, neuroscience, and we'll call it ancient wisdom. And he developed a series of protocols using pressure points to influence neurology, solving all types of problems for children with ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, all different types of issues. And his work came to the attention of an institute in Germany that studies neurology. And they saw his work and they said, Charles, what are you doing? You have to come here to teach. Well, Charles lived in Melbourne, Australia. So he started traveling from Melbourne, Australia to Germany to teach neurology. And he had a problem.
Yes, I'll bet he did.
So being Charles, when Charles has a problem, he comes up with a solution. So he developed a unique protocol to reset his body clock system. We have many of those systems.
And circadian rhythms.
Yes, circadian rhythms. We have clocks in our brain, in our organs, and even in our cells. And Charles used his neurology and his understanding of neural networks to reset the organ clock system with pressure points. So in 5 minutes, he could reset his body clock anywhere in the world. And then many years later, after he had been doing this for a dozen years and he had hundreds of friends using it, I met him here in Boston when he was doing some work. And we became friends. And I'm like, Charles, I'm heading to Italy, for work. I won't see you for a week or two. And he's like, Ted, I have a solution for jet lag. So I looked at Charles and I said, Charles, where have you been all my life? I have 2.5 million air miles. I have suffered for decades. And fast forward 18 months, we started the company. We built a mobile app, and we've deployed it to global travelers so they don't have to suffer like we did.
Boy, I love that. And I'm fascinated by this pressure point. Now, yeah, you've got 2.5 million air miles. I'm bumping 5 million. So I'm very familiar with this notion of jet lag. And I was working with a practitioner in China years ago around pressure points.
Mhm.
And I had a complaint about jet lag. Pointed out a
Mhm.
couple of pressure points that I could use, and I'm doing one under here now.
Mhm.
But there were a couple of them that seemed to work miraculously, and I would land, and I from that point forward really had no significant difficulty with jet lag. So
Mhm.
this, I mean, as an unsolicited testimonial, this approach works. This
Yes.
approach works.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So
And we've
you've
helped
got it as an
thousands
app.
of travelers. So we
Yeah,
built an app
build an app. Yeah.
and we deployed it, and people started using it, and they told us two things. They said, it actually works, but it could be a lot better.
Uh-huh.
You got to keep improving it, the
Uh-huh.
user experience, the interface. So we started doing that. And we've learned so much from our users. We have users that have crossed hundreds of time zones using Uplift.
Now, how does it work? How does it work?
It's very simple in a sense. There's 3 steps. You save your trip in the app. There's an algorithm that figures out which solution works for you, your travel, where you're going, and other factors. There's over 100 different solutions. And when you land, it shows you the pressure points. There's 2 of them, the combinations to use left and right. And in about 5 minutes with videos and some pictograms, you're reset and you're on your way.
Yep.
So what it really does, there's 2 parts to this. Because you've traveled so much. And the jet lag is the desynchronization of your body clock, which means to most folks, I am totally exhausted. And here I am lying awake in the middle of the night or staring at the ceiling at 4 a.m, and I can't go back to sleep.
Yep.
And that desynchronization is caused by rapid travel from one time zone home to another, wherever in the world you're going. And your body clock doesn't know where it is.
Yep.
So what Uplift does, it provides a signal to your body clock to say, hey, we're in Paris this morning. We're not in Boston. Or we're in Hong Kong. We are not in Dallas. And it realigns your neurology so that desynchronization is gone.
Perfect. And it's an elegant approach too. And I particularly like it, because there's no pharmaceuticals involved with it.
No pharmaceuticals.
The body knows how to heal itself.
And then what's happened is people started using it. We have a wide range of users, but many executives who travel, and also athletes, because technically we are a health and wellness and performance enhancer for travel. And studying our users and working with athletes, we've seen that the recovery time to get to 100% performance is dramatically reduced.
Yep.
So studies from NASA and other science has shown that it can take from 12 to 24 hours to fully recover for each time zone crossed.
Yep. I've seen that statistic.
There's a lot of variables with jet lag, a lot of personal variables, but those numbers hold to some extent, and different people experience different problems related to jet lag. Sometimes it's sleep, most times. A lot of times it's digestion and other things that people don't really want to talk about, but are painful. And we cut that recovery time dramatically.
Beautiful. I love it. Folks, you can find out more about this at upliftnaturally.com. And I underline the word naturally there. Upliftnaturally.com. This has been great. Yeah, I've loved having you on. And apologies that David is not with us today. I think that you may or may not have heard on the introduction here, but he's getting an honorary doctorate today. So he's either on stage, coming off of stage, or going onto the stage. I'm not sure where he's at in the process. But I'm sure that he would like to have you back on one of our other shows so that he can actually ask a couple of questions as well. So, Ted, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you being here.
Blaine, thanks so much for having me. A real pleasure to be here. And reach out and connect with me, because I don't want you to have jet lag on your next 5 million miles.
Neither do I. Yeah, it takes a toll on the body.
It sure does.
Yeah. Thank you, my friend.
All right. Be
Take
well.
care.
Thanks.
You too. Wow. Okay. Those are our two guests. We've got a truncated show today, a shortened show today. So only the two guests, and they have been great guests. The takeaway, and we always close these segments with a takeaway, and the whole idea of entrepreneurial spirit, just being able to work with your mindset, to me, is the takeaway here. You know, to pivot from being a hotel booking site to a fintech company without throwing the baby out with the bath, you hold on to that client base. And you generate a whole new business coming out of it based on need. Identifying a need, if I'm a traveler, how do I begin to mitigate the consequences of incessant travel? It's all, and we start thinking out of the box, and it's out of the box thinking. It's, you have to move out of your mindset. So that's my takeaway today, is that these two guests with their companies, I think, are exemplars of what it means to shift mindset, to be able to go into a place that most people don't go and find solutions that are always there. There's solutions to every problem that we have. Every problem has a solution, but you don't want to be selecting solutions that you've selected before, because you're just going to end up creating the same sort of a situation again. You want new solutions to existing problems. New solutions give you new problems, which is great news. If you're not encountering different problems than you've ever encountered before, you're not growing. And that's, one of the litmus tests that you can use here. I want to invite you to, you see the ticker going across the bottom here, leader.blainebartlett.com, leadership-mindset-mastermind. We're launching our fifth annual, or this is the fifth year actually, of a very acclaimed mastermind program. It's an invitation program, so there's a bit of an interview involved with it. But if you're interested in learning how to more effectively explore mindset and become a more effective leader, specifically if you're looking to scale your business in a different way, to actually have it not be just incremental over time, but have an exponential bump in how you're operating, this is a mindset mastermind that you're going to want to be a part of. It's a year-long program. I work with it every single week. And we limit the number of people in it so that there's highly personalized interactions that go on with it. So if you're interested in it, check it out. You can scan the QR code, and it'll take you to a landing page that has got a little link on it that you can actually sign onto the wait list. And either myself or my partner will give you a call, and we will have a conversation about whether this is a good fit for you. And until next week, I want to thank you for being here. And this coming Friday, David has got his regularly scheduled training. There you go. Gigi, you do this so well. You are one of the best producers I've ever worked with here. So be sure that you take advantage of the Friday show, the Friday get together that David hosts every morning on Friday morning. So until next week, we will see you, and have a great, from me, have a great weekend. And we will see you next week. Take care.